Hey, this is in response to the response that Frank Gang gave me, my friend Frank Gang, on my video functional pull-ups. Um, okay, so let's not get too serious here, because if you do any kind of pull-up, you're not going to hurt yourself for the most part. If you do regular pull-ups, if you do the palms to palms, which is probably the best for your shoulders, but as functional, meaning it's not directly related to what you would do in real life, but it's still not bad for you, and it's actually probably healthier for you. The curl is not going to hurt you. So that's the first point I want to say, that these are not bad exercises, whatever you do. And whatever motivates you, whatever you have fun at, is what I would do. I wouldn't even care what I said, what anyone else said, because it's all about what you want to do and what motivates you. Okay? But this whole discussion about functional is very interesting to me, because there's more than two categories. There's not just functional and non-functional. There's functional, meaning is it directly related to what you're doing? Then there's a category between, well, the other category is non-functional on the other spectrum, which to me is non-functional is something that doesn't carry over that well, and most likely hurts you or will hurt you, and you know, and hurt, like if you're doing like the bench press. Okay, that's just so, like, if you do any research, if you have any experience with that, like I have, I've injured both my rotator cuffs doing that, which is really, injuring your scapula. If you fix your scapula, you will fix your rotator cuff injuries, by the way. If you have any questions on that, let me know on scapular exercises. But that's an exercise that, yeah, you develop your press, your bench, your chest muscles. You develop your chest muscles a lot at the expense of your back. That's a totally non-functional exercise. But so what is a functional, non-functional, and what's the third category is not directly related to what you want to do category, but it's still transferable, which is what Frank is talking about. There are exercises that are very transferable to your functional goals if you have functional goals like I do. And if you don't have functional goals, that's okay. Everyone does whatever they want. But if you have functional goals, there are transferable that are good for you too. So like if you're doing the pull-up and you want to do curls too, that it'll probably help. Yeah, definitely, like what Frank said, your grip. It'll help a lot with your grip. Okay. What would I do if I wanted to do pull-ups and I wanted something that would help me transfer? I'd probably do deadlifts or clean and jerks, clean snatch, that kind of thing. Just because it's the same kind of grip, and you're also getting something, lifting from the ground. You're getting another angle, because you get the other but whatever. Maybe I would just do hangs if you really want to work your grip, so you could do more pull-ups. But you got to think when you're doing pull-ups, if you really want to do transferable exercises for that, you got to stay pretty much in the same plane. You don't want to be doing rows. That's a totally different exercise. Okay? And when you're doing rows, if you're not having something to support your back, you're going to fuck your back up. You're going to mess it up. So you got to have a back support. But once you have a back support, it's not functional, meaning you're not going to be able to go and pull something like that. When do you ever pull something like this? You never do that unless you want to hurt your back. Okay? If you're wrestling, it's so many different movements, and it's not like, you're doing this, and you're usually not doing this. You're just grabbing and you're pulling back. But that's wrestling. That's really quick, and that doesn't relate to stuff like that. But like, here's an example. Let's do the bench press, okay? And let's talk about that, because the bench press. Someone commented earlier below in Frank's videos about sofa pushes, being the same thing as bench press. That's not true. When you're doing a sofa push, you're not doing this. You're not doing this at all. First of all, with the bench press, you have something supporting your back, eliminating your back muscles, and messing up your scapula. And if you do it long enough, you're going to hurt your scapula, and really, you're going to have shoulders that look like this, okay? And you're going to have maybe rotator cuff injuries. And if you just stop here on the bench, you're gonna save yourself a lot of pain, but you're still not going to be pushing a sofa like this. First of all, you're going to be pushing a sofa like this, okay? You're going to be using your legs. You're going to be driving in, and you're going to be using a lot of your legs. You're going to be holding that. You're not going to be pressing it, okay? Because if you want to push that heavy sofa, which is a weird thing to be doing in the first place, but if you want to do that, you're going to lock your arms, and transfer that force all the way down, you're going to be almost a line all the way into your legs, and one leg at a time, you're going to be pushing that sofa. So, in fact, if you wanted to have a transferable exercise for sofa pushes, that would be the shoulder press. Okay, and if you wanted to do even more transferable, I would just grab a weight and put it at the top of your rack, hit really heavy, get under it, lock your arms before you even lift it, and then stand up an inch or two, and just hold that and do holds for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever, do singles or whatever you want. That's a real functional transferable thing. So in response to Frank's comment about the bench press, I don't think that's a non-functional exercise. So I don't think there's an argument there. I agree with you. That's a very transferable exercise. That's in the middle. So there's functional, non-functional, and transferable. So if you have functional, like so you want to learn to jump really high, you're gonna do a lot of jumps. You're gonna do box jumps, is two-legged and one-legged. Most NBA players jump off of one leg. When you're running, you're jumping off of one leg. So you want to do those at first. You could do one leg. It's been shown that one leg step ups, especially the jumping variety, work really well. Then you do the back squat, okay, and that really does help your back. And you're doing the same movement with your legs. It's not like the bench press where you're doing this movement and then you want to go push a sofa. You're not going to be doing this at all, and you just lost all your back, your scapula muscles, and your lower back you're going to injure that because you never worked like this before. And even if you did work like this before, it's going to still hurt your back because you're not supposed to be lifting like this. You're going to go like this, and you're going to lock your arms. It's totally different movements. So with the squat though, you're going up and down still with the legs. It's the same movement. Yeah, it's two legs instead of one, and you could lift a lot heavier weights with two legs instead of one. So I could definitely see that correlating to you being able to jump high. And I've seen Frank dunk basketballs back in the day. He's not doing that kind of stuff anymore. It sounds he's doing more of the bodyweight stuff, but I've seen him dunk, and it was pretty crazy. And trying to race Frank was ridiculous because he just killed me. So I agree with you, Frank, on that. The other thing about functional that I prescribe to it so much is because I'm busy, and you got to be efficient with your workouts. Okay, so what is the most bang for my buck workout? And I'll have more videos on other functional exercises that you could watch. But the main thing is that I like to do what I like to do, and I don't have a lot of time, and I want to get the most bang for my buck. So right now I'm exclusively doing bodyweight exercises and wrestling a 50-pound bag, and I'll show those videos later if you want to see them. So sign up, subscribe. But when I'm working out, I want to be the most efficient workout. If I have to do a second transferable functional, I do those too. I like those, but I have to have time for it, and I have to see a big bang for my buck. So like Frank, you see a big bang for your buck for the ass to ground back squats, and that would be something I would do if I wanted a big bang for my buck. But I don't see curls being that functional. I do see them working out your biceps more, and they are transferable if you want to do that. If you have a lot of time and you want to do a lot of pull-ups or gymnastics, I would definitely do those, but they're just not for me.